The moment I said, I'm now Muslim, everything shifted. Suddenly the people who once called me family looked at me like I was a stranger. And the hardest part? It was the people who went to church every Sunday. The ones always preaching love who showed me the most hate. Hi, I'm Bree Charban, and this is Beyond the Shahada. This week I want to talk about something that's been stirring from my TikTok comments lately. You know the type, the ones that say things like, you were never a real Christian, you're deceived, or my personal favourite, you're worshipping the devil. But beneath all that noise, there's something deeper happening. When I became Muslim, everything changed. Not just spiritually, but socially. The way people treated me, the way they judged me, the way they suddenly decided they didn't know me anymore. So today I'm going to share what really happens when you stop fitting the image people had of you and start living in truth instead. Let's get into it. When I first announced that I had now become Muslim, officially, the people who actually knew me weren't surprised at all. They didn't argue, they didn't panic. They just said, wow, there must be something to this, because they know I don't do things on impulse. I don't jump on trends. If I say I'm doing something, it's because I've questioned it, researched it, sat with it, and made peace with it from every angle. The only people who understood that, just a small handful. And they still believe in God. They still identify as Christian. But their faith isn't rooted in church politics or fear. It's quiet, it's thoughtful, it's theirs. They didn't need me to stay the same to keep loving me. They trusted my heart, they trusted my judgment, they saw the peace and goodness that came with my decision, and they've stuck around ever since. Everyone else? They didn't love me. They loved the idea of me. The Christian girl, the polished, predictable, easy to process version. The second I stepped outside that box, they didn't know what to do with me. I spent most of my life in churches, not just sitting in the rows, actually involved. I watched my dad pronounce people married at the altar. I saw what happens behind the scenes at the pastors' houses. I helped set up for Sunday mornings, bread, grape juice, microphones, the whole performance. And I still remember when my mum used to bake the special bread for communion. I'd be sitting in the kitchen thinking, wait, the body of God is being baked in our oven? Look, I know it was symbolic, but even as a kid, it felt strange. I remember asking, why do we pretend to eat and drink someone's body to feel close to them? And of course, the answer was always, it's spiritual. Looking back now, I realize I was already asking the questions no one wanted to answer. I saw pastors learn how to speak in tongues, then perform it on stage like it was a gift from God that they couldn't control. I've heard Bible verses shouted that didn't even exist. I've watched the message twisted to raise more money, guilt people into obedience, or just keep them scared to leave. And the scariest part, we were taught that anything outside the church bubble was from the devil. Question the Trinity? The devil's deceiving you. Why Jesus never said, I'm God? That's demonic. Study Islam? Oh, spiritual warfare. That's why you hear those same lines repeated over and over in comment sections. You're deceived. You're worshipping the devil. You left the light and you're going to hell. No original thought, just fear, wrapped in religious language. And I get it. That system shaped me too. But eventually, it failed me. Because real faith doesn't fear truth. It invites questions, it invites study, it invites understanding. And when I finally read the Bible without someone interpreting it for me from a pulpit, that's what led me to Islam. Islam doesn't punish you for asking. It welcomes your questions. It teaches you how to understand your faith, how to lead with wisdom, and not just follow the crowd. Church wanted sheep. Islam made me strong and independent. And then came the hijab. Suddenly people stopped seeing me. They didn't see my sincerity. They didn't care about my character. They couldn't hear my voice over the scarf. And here's the irony. The same people who always bragged about not judging others were suddenly judging me. Not for hurting anyone, and not for changing my values, but for choosing modesty, because I didn't look like them anymore. It wasn't even about Islam. It was about control. I wasn't making their worldview feel comfortable anymore. And that's when I realized I was never truly loved. I was accepted, so long as I stayed exactly who they needed me to be. I didn't leave Christianity because I was angry. I didn't become Muslim to rebel. I accepted Islam because it affirmed what I already believed after studying the Bible for myself, after stepping outside church culture, after finally seeing the difference between truth and tradition. I didn't blindly follow a new path. I broke away from blindly following anything. I chose Islam with my eyes wide open, and once I saw the truth, I couldn't unsee it. Even if it cost me relationships, even if it made people uncomfortable, because I couldn't keep living a life that looked right to them, but felt wrong to me. Islam didn't take anything from me. It gave me everything. Real purpose, real direction, real submission. Not to a church, not to a crowd, but to God alone. And the peace that came with that, you can't fake that. You can't preach that into someone. You have to live it. And that's what I'm doing now. Whether they understand me or not, whether they accept me or not, because I know who I am, and I know exactly who I worship. If you can relate to this or you've been through something similar, please share it. You never know who needs to hear this. Drop a comment, tell me a story, or tag someone who needs to listen. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. And if you want to have a good laugh, jump over to my TikTok and just have a look through the comments. I'm Brisha Ben, and this was Beyond the Shahada.